So the 2 p.m. update on this upcoming winter weather. What has changed? We do have a threat of icing a little further to the southeast than we briefed yesterday. As we talked about yesterday, there was still some uncertainty in the southeast extent of where that freezing rain might occur. And based on some of the newer information, it does look like there will be a band of at least light freezing precipitation extending farther to the southeast, and I'll show that during the presentation today. So we have a strong cold front still scheduled to come across southeast Texas during the day on Thursday. Much colder conditions behind the front, as we've been talking about. We'll have that period of freezing rain and icing, especially over our northwest counties. So we're talking about a Brenham to Huntsville to Trinity line on northwest. But we are looking at the potential for icing farther to the southeast as well, due to a persistent band of light freezing rain and maybe a little bit of sleet that many of the models now are showing continuing behind the front and sort of sagging southeastward across the area Thursday night. And with this band of light precipitation and temperatures dropping below freezing, we could see some icy conditions on bridges and overpasses. And I'll kind of outline the areas of greatest concern in a moment. In addition to the iciness, perhaps, of course, it's going to be cold and windy. Wind chills dropping back into the teens Thursday night and Friday night, as we talked about yesterday. This event is not nearly as extreme as the record-breaking February 2021 freeze that's on a lot of people's minds. This is more of a typical winter cold air outbreak scenario for our area. Here's a look at the kind of regional view of winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. The warnings in pink, the advisories in purple. The warned areas are where we're looking at the greatest amount of ice and some snow and sleet as well. So certainly the Dallas area there, North Texas, and up into Oklahoma, going to get hit very hard with this storm with a lot of freezing rain. Our area is on sort of the southeast edge of the impact zone, and so our northwest counties will probably get the most freezing rain, and then lesser amounts as you get further southeast toward the greater Houston area. And that's why we have warnings in our northwest and advisories further southeast. This map will likely change over the next 12 hours. Our neighbors to the east and west will likely fill in some of those counties with advisories. And don't want to forget, we have a gale warning for the coastal waters, very strong winds behind the front, both for the marine areas and areas downwind of the water. So think, for example, Galveston and Bolivar, Matagorda. You're looking at very strong winds behind the front along with the cold temperatures. Here's a little closer view of the warnings and advisories for the local area. You can see there Brazos, Burleson, Houston, and Madison counties in pink. That's where the greatest amount of icing is forecast to occur. Probably greater than 1/8 of an inch of ice accretion, maybe up to 1/4 inch at the high end. And then lesser amounts, but perhaps enough to cause slick conditions as you go further southeast. The winter storm warning begins 6 a.m. Thursday. We'll kind of lay out the timing in the next slides, in that the warning extends through 9 a.m. Friday. As you get a little bit further east, Grimes, Washington, Austin, Colorado counties, they're under an advisory that starts also at 6 a.m. And then the furthest east, and a little bit darker shade of purple there, from Wharton up through Fort Bend, Harris, Montgomery, Walker, Trinity. The advisory there actually starts at 2 p.m. because they'll be above freezing for most of the day in that eastern zone. So how much ice are we looking at? If you were to look at yesterday's map, you would see similar amounts, but the 1/100th to 10th of an inch area has shifted a little bit further to the southeast, like we've been talking about, even including parts of northwest Harris County. And so that fits in very well with the advisory that we've issued. A little closer view of the expected icing. And don't worry about the exact details of this, but kind of the dark oranger areas in the northwest, that's greater than 1/10 of an inch. So really that could extend up through Madison and Houston counties as well. And then lesser amounts further southeast, more like 1/100th to 1/10 of an inch with this event. And if you notice the last bullet, it's not out of the question. This could shift even a little bit further to the south as we go late Thursday night into Friday morning. Some of the models actually show some very light freezing precipitation getting even into the coastal counties. So, you know, we don't have really much confidence on that. There's not a lot of consistency between the different models. But that's something we're going to have to evaluate over the next day or so. So let's kind of time this out a little bit. And as you view these maps, this is a model forecast of rainfall and temperature, surface temperature for different times. The actual times probably won't be exactly like this. This is just meant to give you kind of a general feel for how things are going to evolve. So if you look at 6 a.m. Thursday morning, the freezing line, which is indicated on these maps as the boundary between green and blue, is just getting into our western counties, maybe getting close to Burleson at 6 a.m. tomorrow. But everyone else is still above freezing. If you look at the forecast radar depiction, we've got some scattered showers and storms in advance of the front, and this band of wintry mix farther to the northwest. So that's 6 a.m. Moving ahead to noon, you can see everything shifts toward the southeast. My freezing line now is into those northwest counties, so we're pretty much below freezing here, near or below freezing, all the way from Bryan down to Burleson County, and then still above freezing to the southeast at noon tomorrow. 6 p.m., this model has, for example, Harris and City of Houston still above freezing at 6 p.m. Again, the actual timing may differ by a certain number of hours, but it does give you an idea of how we get colder from northwest to southeast. Going back, I don't think I discussed the radar depiction here at noon. Still some showers around in advance. I know TxDOT was maybe hoping for a break, and we still could get one, but you know, there are still even some showers at noon in advance of this band of precipitation. And some of this wintry freezing rain precipitation now getting into the northwest counties by midday tomorrow. 6 p.m., turning colder from northwest to southeast, as we've talked about. And all these showers and storms now have shifted east. You know, maybe there is a bit of a break here mid to late afternoon for the greater Houston area. And then this pink area is primarily freezing rain, shifting from northwest to southeast across the area. We get to midnight, you see that band now is sitting over really it's moved through Harris County, it's into Fort Bend, even some counties down to the south. And so overall, what you see with precipitation-wise is sort of a weakening band of precipitation and colder temperatures streaming in. Look at the midnight temperatures, according to this model, right around freezing at this point in the Houston area and down into the lower 20s in the northwest counties. So that's kind of the general overall view. What about after midnight? You know, does this band persist over the coastal counties? Possibly. This model does keep it going, but that's something we're going to have to evaluate. I want to point out this precipitation falling from this band is quite light, and it's falling in an area that's near or maybe just below freezing. So, you know, it's not clear how much impacts there will be in that band. And then just looking at the temperatures, kind of a quick look here. Thursday night, you can see kind of what we were talking about, lower 20s, northwest counties, bottoming out there. Probably above freezing on the island there, Galveston Island, but below freezing for inland portions of southeast Texas. Rising a little bit on Friday, but it's going to be a cold day for our area, only in the 30s for the northwest half of the area, maybe lower 40s for the southeastern portion. Friday night, another cold one, lower 20s in the northwest, upper 20s closer to the coast. As we talked about yesterday, when we start to see lower 20s, that's when we can get some pipe issues. And so you may see some hard freeze warnings for northwest portions to sort of account for that. And wind chill advisories as well. Let's talk about the wind chills. Thursday night, it's not just getting cold, but it's going to be windy and cold. Low wind chills here in the single digits in the northwest areas, and then the teens most everywhere else, mid-20s on the island there. Then Friday night, similar, but the winds won't be quite as strong, so our wind chills are maybe several degrees higher than Thursday night. And then we talked about the website yesterday where you can get details for your location. And I hope everyone had a chance to play around with that website. This is just the College Station look, showing the drop in temperatures and then staying cold really right through Saturday, and then only a gradual warm up next week. So we don't really get out of the 40s for highs until we get out toward Wednesday. And then the wind chills as well. These forecast grids show a pretty rapid drop in chances of precipitation as that band shifts out of College Station. Similar for Houston, not too different than what we showed yesterday. Cold night tomorrow night and Friday night, and then just slow moderation beyond that. Now these forecasts are constantly being updated. The update for this is being worked on right now. So, I would recommend testing out this link here, in a couple of hours, and you'll see, the latest and greatest forecast information from the Weather Service forecasters. And then the marine, we touched on that. On top of everything else, we had quite a bit of dense fog this morning, in part due to what we call marine fog, and we'll have those conditions again tonight. So we may have some fog, especially near the coast and over the waters, prior to that front arriving. And then, as I mentioned, gale warning in effect, winds 30 to 40 knots, rough bay waters and seas. And remember, if you're downwind of the bay, say in Galveston or Bolivar or Matagorda, you're going to be catching a lot of those winds too. So 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, a pretty good bet for Galveston Island, for example. So key takeaways, we do have this Arctic front coming through. Coldest air of the season is coming in. The coldest nights look to be Thursday and Friday nights, as we talked about yesterday. Period of freezing rain and icing is possible, in fact likely, over the northwest counties. But light icing also possible farther to the southeast than we briefed yesterday, perhaps into northwest Harris County, maybe even a little bit farther southeast. There still is uncertainty in timing of the drop in temperatures and this light precipitation band. And so, therefore, there's uncertainty in the extent of the icing and the freezing rain. So, we're constantly trying to reevaluate this based on the new information, and confidence right now is still medium overall. It's quite possible we'll need to make adjustments tomorrow. And there will be another webinar tomorrow at 2 p.m. Email updates sent out before then. The event should be underway by then. We'll have the front moving across the area, and we'll try to evaluate that band in more detail.